So this is my first time ever doing an unboxing video. I've watched a lot of them, and I thought, well, I'm going to take a shot at this because I just purchased the Drawmer MQ-2 equalizer. It's an equalizer with a compressor and also a quote-unquote crush circuit. Apparently it adds nice harmonics or whatever. I saw a video for this on the internet, a demonstration on MixBus TV, and I'll leave the link below, and I was just blown away by this unit. I thought, wow, this is really cool. I think it could do the job that I need. It's 7-band EQ, and it's stereo, so I've got 2 channels, and I really want to always run as much as possible 2 channels of anything through my 500 series unit. So this looked like it was going to be perfect. I had to wait quite a while. I think I have one of the first ones in Canada, maybe? I don't know. I am taking a bit of a chance because the only review I saw was on MixBus TV, and it was a really good, thorough review, and I watched it 275 million times, and each time I watched it, I thought, okay, I think this really could be the unit that I want. So I just picked it up this morning from Long and McQuaid here in Toronto, and I am ready to try it out, but I thought, I gotta do an unboxing video because why not? You know, here it is. So I'm going to interrupt myself here because, quite frankly, I just kept going on and on and on. And there's only a few details you really need to know. First of all, go on to MixBus TV on YouTube and look up the review that was done there. It's really excellent, covers ground that I don't, and I think you'll enjoy it. Secondly, the Drawmer MQ-2 is inspired by the EQ units that were part of Motown Records, Hitsville. Back in the 1960s, they made their own, okay? Back then, you had to do a lot of that. While it's inspired by, it certainly isn't the same circuit. I mean, the circuit back then, it was all rotary dials with inductors and capacitors and resistors, so very different circuitry. So if it's a different circuit, but it's inspired by, what does that mean? Well, the first thing is they chose the same EQ center points that were on the Hitsville EQs. So there's 7 bands, and they're 12.5K, 5K, 2K, 800 hertz, 320 hertz, 130 hertz, and 50 hertz. So those are the same EQ bands that were on the Motown EQs. The other thing they did was they emulated how the Q works on the bell curves for them. So each of these EQ areas is a bell curve. When it's at 0, of course it's flat, it has no effect whatsoever. If you turn it up just a little or down just a little, you get a fairly broad Q, okay, a broad bell curve, one way or the other. The higher you go, or the lower you go, the tighter the Q is, the narrower it is, the tighter the bell curve is. And so it emulates how that works on those EQs. And what's really cool is how they interact with each other. You can start fiddling with 2 of them, and they'll influence each other a bit in terms of how you perceive what you're hearing. There are additions. One of Drawmer's kind of things that they always like to do is say, okay, if we're going to do this kind of circuit, what bonus can we add? So the bonus in the case of the MQ-2 is that they put in a compressor, a single knob compressor, and also their crush circuit, which basically adds harmonics on anything that is above 0. So any of the 7 bands that are turned above 0, it will start to create harmonics if you push on the crush button. So those are the 2 kind of added bonuses to this. I'm going to demo this with 3 things. One is acoustic guitar, bass, and drums. So I hope you enjoy this video. I'm still talking away here. Okay, it is now unboxed, and this for the acoustic guitar, it was recorded into an Aston Spirit and a Lewitt 140, so one in each channel, and that's what these two channels are. It was recorded straight into a Tascam DR60, and then that file was copied into the DAW to try and keep it as pure as possible. The SSLs here are just being used to bring up the gain a little bit. No EQ, no compression, no reverb. It's just a straight raw signal going in as it was recorded. Right now, we're on bypass, and if we open it up, you really can't hear any difference. And we're set for EQ before compression, and we're zeroed out here. No compression, no crush. I'm going to start at the bottom end, because I normally would use a high pass filter, but I didn't because I wanted to, maximize the understanding of what this would do. So we'll back off a little. Can't hear a lot of difference there. Not a lot of the 50 range. I suspect when we move up to the 130, we're going to hear a difference. So we'll take that down. Will we crank it up a little bit more? Oh yeah, you can hear the rumble now, eh? Ooh, that's horrible. Now these tend to interact a lot, so I suspect that if we start to bring this down, we'll hear a little bit more difference. If we bring this up, we might hear more bottom, but we'll probably take this down a little bit. You want to try and get that bottom rumble that's really not useful out of a guitar anyways. Of course, it all depends on the mix that you're doing. If it's just a guitar and singer, then you want the acoustic being as rich as possible. But if there's a whole bunch of other instruments, you want to maybe look just for the percussiveness of the guitar, so you're going to emphasize the top end and cut back the bottom end. Now if we go to 320 and take that down, that really thins it out. Really thins it out. Let's take it back in. And that just gets really mucky, hollow sounding almost. I suspect that then if you wanted it in a bigger mix, you might take a little bit of 320 out. But if you're gonna solo the guitar, you might want a little bit of 320 in. Now we'll go to 800. Now you can really hear the difference there with the mids, eh? It kind of loses its life. Oh, yeah, I don't think so. Maybe a little bit of 800. That's what you're after. Let's just go bypass for a second. Oh, listen to that thump. Yeah, it's taking that thump out of the bottom. Okay, now 2K. So we go down on 2K. Kind of loses its life, eh? There's not much there. Now, ooh, you go too far with any of these. I think that adds just a little bit of life to it, doesn't it? Okay, now we go to 5K. So this would be where, oh darn, I forgot to tighten this up. There. If you wanted a lot of rhythmic pick attack, you'd probably take the 5K up. Again, you may want to play around with these two just to see. You may want to take some of that out if you're going with the 5K. And finally the 12.5K, which I don't think we're going to hear a lot of difference. No, it's a little crisp there on the top. There. Now let's bypass it. Oh yeah, a lot of life to that. I want to take up something down here. Oh yeah, it sounds muddy. There, it has a whole new life. Okay, let's play around with the compression. Let's take, I always like to do a little compression with acoustic on the recording side. It might be way too much. So that's in, not compressing much there, of course. Let's wait till we get really loud again, see what's happening. Okay, here we go. Definitely sustains it a lot. Might be a little bit too much going on there, a little muddy. But I mean, that sounds so much better with that EQ and just a little bit of compression. Now the crush control on this, it only adds harmonics for those things that are actually above zero. Zero and below, no harmonics are added. I don't know if we'll hear a lot on here. We may have to exaggerate a little. Let's take up something that's really gonna crush. Maybe a little bit of top end. Maybe something, I don't know, really low thundering. Add some more compression, drive it a little harder. You can hear the crush there. That's probably a little bit too crushed. makes a dramatic difference. You may or may not like this mix, but it certainly makes a difference with it. I'd back off on some of this stuff, but just a little bit. So there we go. That's the acoustic guitar. Really makes a huge difference. I'm definitely going to record running through this, or at least do this part, because it just adds so much more to it. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so let's see how this works with bass guitar. What I've done is I've played my bass, and you're never supposed to apologize on these things, but you can tell I'm not a bass player. Anyways, I recorded the bass straight into a ditto, and then the ditto is just playing back over and over again. I'm using the SSL as a preamp. Again, no EQ, no compression, just straight through the SSL into the Drawmer. At the moment I have it on bypass. If we take the bypass off, don't hear any difference at all because everything's flat. So the acoustic guitar, we started down here at 50 Hertz. For the bass, we're going to start off up at the top end, and I think it's pretty safe to say we're really not going to hear much with the 12.5K. If there's anything there, it'll be my string scratching. Let's try now. We're going to move to the 5K. Again, we're not really hearing anything much there. That's to be expected. Now we'll move on to the 2K. This is where we should start to hear a little something, at least with the strings. Yeah, you can start to hear the rattle on the strings, eh? You know, it adds a little bit of life to it. Listen to it at 0. When you're doing a mix and you know that people listening to it are going to be on earbuds or whatever, sometimes you need a little bit of top end just so that they know there was a bass there. So, you know, I don't mind a little bit of 2K in there, even with my rattly strings. Okay, now we'll take it to 800. Makes the bigger difference. I mean, if you knew everybody was going to listen on 18-inch woofers, you might want to have it all the way down. But having these mids in really makes a difference, eh? Listen to it at 0. Gives it a nice presence, eh? Okay, let's get down into bass range 320. Here we go. Almost gets muddy as you crank that up, eh? But it does add some nice beef to the... And you can see we're moved the levels up. You almost have to take it down a little bit, because that's really where the heart of this is. Now we're going to get down to the 130 range. And we'll just wait for it to come around. Here we go. Again, once you get up here, you almost have to start to take it down. But quite frankly, that sounds a little wolfy. That's nice. Let's see what its bypass like. with 50. Really takes a lot out of it, eh? Now if you're trying to blend it with a kick, you may want to take some of that out. Almost sounds like a subharmonic oscillator there, eh? Let's hear it again. Okay, let's wait till we get down to some of those lower notes. Now you notice we're only using one channel here. Even though it's a stereo, you can run two separate signals into it. Have to take some of that down if you really crank that up. Boy, if you want lots of bottom end. Okay, let's try the compression on her now. Compression, you can really squish it. If we try the compression before the EQ, let's see what difference it makes. It sounds a little brighter to me when you have the compressor going into the EQ. It's a little more level that way too. Back that off a bit. Now let's try the crush. Again, if it's above 0, then it's going to add some crush, and the more compression you give it, today. Makes a big difference with the bass, that's for sure. Sounds much nicer. Take it down just a little bit, you know, the levels. There you go. There's the bass, sounds great, really makes a wonderful difference. So I saved the drums for last. Most people are really into the drums when they look at compression or EQ and that. I'm not a drummer. I don't have a drum kit, so what you're hearing here is what I put together in Easy Drummer 3, okay? So it comes out of the computer into the SSL. No compression or EQ at all. It's just there to keep the levels up, and then out of the SSL into the Drawmer. At the moment it's bypassed. If we take it out, don't really hear any difference. So we'll take it out. I'm going to start up here at 12.5K. So we'll take it down. Wow. That really brought out the hi-hat, eh? This isn't the greatest mix in the world, and I noticed that the hi-hat was a little light in the original mix, so actually this 12K is saving the mix a little bit. I'll leave it about there for a moment. Okay, let's move to 5K. So 5K, we'll turn it down. Oh, listen to that snare snap. So that's flat. Ooh, that does even more to the hi-hats. I mean, if you're looking for more snap on the snare, you may actually want to take this down a little bit, because it certainly made the hi-hat prominent. Okay, now we're going to move down to the 2K. Well, when you take that out, it really takes away a lot of life, doesn't it? Oh, wow. Just as we get past 0, eh? Wow. You know, normally I would never go this extreme, but I could hear a mix with something this violent. But I think we'll back it off a little bit. Let's just bypass it for a moment and see what we got. Oh yeah. I know in Easy Drummer there are overheads, but I think this accentuates them a little bit. Okay, here we go. We're going to look at 800 hertz, so we're going to go down. And back up. Brutal, but somewhere in here, listen to the crack on that snare, eh? Let's listen to the kick. Listen to that kick. Brings out the beater, eh? So far except for a little down here, we're bringing everything up. At some point I'm going to have to drop the level on this. Okay, so now we'll listen to 320. Oh, that just sucked the whole life out of the kit. I could back down the level a teeny bit. Muddies up the just a little bit of that. Okay, now 130. Took all the life out of the kick, eh? Ooh. Oh, I love that kick. Ooh, now it's muddy. Let's just, I seem to be taking everything up. Let's put it on bypass for a second. Oh, that's really nice crispness to the top end. Almost sounds hollow at the top without it. And with it, yeah. Okay, 50. Okay, this is getting to deep kick territory. Oh, thundering kick. Listen to that. Now we got to take the level down a bit, eh? I like that. I know that's a lot, but wow. Listen to that again. Whew. Okay, let's just see what's going on if we change it from EQ into compressor to compressor into EQ. Okay, so now it's time to compress this. Let's just be really ridiculous here. Take her way up and then make up the gain. Oh, that's just absolutely horrible, eh? Really muddies it up. Way too much compression. Let's just give it a little bit. Okay. That's peaking around maybe 3 to 4. There it's in, out. Let's take that up just a little bit more. Wow, listen to how it opens up. Listen to that snare. It sounds like it's in a room. I like that. Maybe a little less. Okay, now the crush circuit. As I've said before, wherever it's plus, it'll add some harmonics. So this should really crush. Now what you could do to increase the amount of crush is you increase the drive here. So that snare. I'd go that extreme. So there you go. It certainly makes a huge difference with drums. I don't know whether you'd want to have that much kick, but and it kind of rescued my mix because the hi-hat was a little buried. I mean, you could take these down up here a little bit. Maybe take that up a little. There you go. So that's the drums. Well, if you got this far, thank you so much for watching it. I trust that this video was useful for you, that you learned something about the Drawmer MQ-2. I would encourage you to watch the MixBus TV video. The description is down below somewhere because it's really thorough, does a great job of showing it, and this guy really knows what he's doing. I would ask you to consider subscribing to my channel. It's always useful. Anybody who watches much of YouTube knows that the more subscribers we get, the more views we get, the more we're seen. So please consider subscribing to my channel, hitting the like button. Also, any comments that you might have. Was this useful for you? Where did I screw up? Where did I do well? I'd really like to know that from you. And so thank you so much. Take care.